Hive. And the meanwhile, created yesterday file. File name is, for example, emp. This is a file I created yesterday. And yes, this is my Hive. So here all my tables are available. Show bases, databases. These are the number of databases are available. I want to create my own database. Create database, some database name, for example. Here number of is there. For example, I'm taking like a Krish DB. Already is there. Krish DB 2. Yes, I'm creating the database by the name Krish DB 2. Enter. Database created. Now I want to use this database. Before I use this database, I want to see the tables. Those tables are available default database. Show tables. Now what are the tables are available? These all are there in this database. In our VMware, empty tables. There is no tables. There is no databases also. Only default database. Only one data was only available. This one only. Now I want to use this DB2 now. Use DB2. Enter. So here this now show tables. There is no tables. Empty tables. Show tables. Yeah, sorry. Use ChrisDB2. Then show tables. There is no tables. Okay, time taken this much time only. I want to create a table. How can you create a table? What is the syntax to create a table? Yes. See my documentation. Similar like a SQL. This is the syntax. Create table, table name, schema. Common. This is a common syntax to create a table. Okay, now I'm going to create it. Create table. Some table name, for example. Schema, employee ID. Employee name, string. Generally in SQL we are taking char or varchar, but here we are taking string. Like this, I am creating a table. Why I am taking this key? Because in my local file, I have already data is there. In my local file system, I have already data is there, like 5 columns data is there. According to these 5 columns, I create a table, 5 columns. In your practice time also, first create a file in your local file system. According to the file, create a schema. I want to load this data into my table. How can I load? Similar like a third arrow. What third arrow representing in our diagram? And what is third arrow doing? It's copying the data from local file system to Hive table. How can I copy it? My input data is like a comma delimiter data, semi-structured data. But my table only accepting structured data. My input data is semi-structured data. How can I clean? If it is clean, then only it's helpful. Right? Without cleaning, table is not accepting the semi-structured data. So that's why at the time of table creation only, I simply specify delimiter command also. I simply going to specify delimiter command also. So see the documentation. Come down. Yes. Create table, table name, schema, according to your data. Then mention your delimiter command. Row format delimited, fields terminated by comma. So what do you mean by comma? Why comma here I mention in the single quotes? Because my input data is comma. That's why my input data is comma. That's why I mentioned comma is a delimiter. Okay. So I'm going to mention now. I'm going to create a table now. So create table emp table 2 this time. Then I have mentioned the row format command also. Row format delimited fields terminated by comma. Enter. Now table is created. What is this mistake? Yeah, spell mistake in the typo error terminated. Yes. Table created. Now we have two tables is there. EMP table, EMP2 table, EMP table 2. Just for convenient, I'm going to create one more table. Table name EMP table 3. Employee ID integer, employee name string. Yes, only one change here I did instead of integer. Just I'm changing to string. Ename string. Then third column take another column gender, salary, integer, gender string, and department number integer. Yes. This table also I am not mentioning any delimiter command. Enter. Table is created. Now three tables are and my source file also available. Now I want to copy the data only. Third arrow. What is the syntax for third arrow? Yes, come to again documentation. Come down. The third point. Loading data from local file to Hive table. Yeah, this is the syntax. Load data local in path, file path into table name. The syntax to loading data from local to Hive table. Load data local in path, single quotes, mention local file name. What is local file name? Yes, I created my local file name is emp, cat emp. Yes, this is the data. And where this emp file is available? pwd. Yes, emp file is available by default home training folder only. So not required any other folders. Directly mention here emp. If it is there in any other subdirectories, mention the directory path also clearly. Into table name. We have three tables is there. First emp table, first table, enter. Data loading successfully. And second emp table 2, enter. Data loading successfully. Now third one emp table 3, enter. Data loading successfully. Three tables. Now I want to see data loading properly loaded or not. Here clearly showing also, yes, data loading into ChrisDB2 database dot table. ChrisDB data 2 dot emp table 2 clearly showing which database the table is loading. Now I want to see the table. What is the syntax to see the table? The command to see the data in particular table is select star from table name emp table 2. We are expecting table 2 data is properly is available. Enter. Yes, data is there properly. Okay, there is no header commands. By default in our Hive, there is no headers. I want to set the headers. How can I set the headers? Command is there. In my documentation. I mentioned the command clearly, the header command. This is the header command. Set this header, it will come in headers. I will show you. set hive dot cli dot print dot header equal to true. Enter. Now we set the header. Now let's see. Select the star from EMP table 2. Enter. Yes, data properly loaded. EID columns is there, e-name column, salary, everything is there properly. Okay. Now, what about EMP table? Remove to enter, select the star from EMP table. Nulls loading. Why? Because EMP table, there is no cleaning command, delimiter command. EMP table 2, delimiter command is there. At the time of loading, this delimiter command, what is the delimiter is there? The row formatted. It will be automatically terminated, delimited, loading the data into these tables. So whenever the comma is coming, up to that, our delimiter command delimited. Okay, that's why EMP table 2 data is loading properly, and EMP table nulls loading. Just for your clarity, we have another table is there, EMP table 3. Enter. EMP table 3 is there. See here what happened here. EID data is loading. E-name second column null is there. Salary null is there. Gender null is there. Department null is there. Why? What is the reason? What is the difference between EMP table and EMP table 3? EMP table 3 also there is no delimiter, but data is loading because the first column is string and there is no delimiter. So what happened? Completely, what are the data is there? Na? Completely all the data coming. Even though EMP table and EMP table 3, two tables is there. Na? The two tables complete data is coming. Loading. EMP table 2 also 3 tables data is coming. But EMP table 2 we are mentioning delimiter. That's a properly loading. But table 1 and table 3 there is no delimiter. Data is coming. And table EMP table first column is integer. Integer not supporting string. Loading the data completely. Nulls loading. But table 3 first column is a string. That's why completely data is loading as easily. Now in this time complete all this line what I am highlighting completely is only one value. Only one value available under a EID column. And remaining columns are null. Okay. And yesterday I told Hive follow the scheme on reading time only. Hive not follow the scheme on writing time. I told, remember, this is the only. At the time of writing, it's not required to verifying. If you mention the string, any type of data you can easily store into our string format. For example, I have the data is the text format data. Some tag delimiter data. Let's see, for example, this is my data. Just a 5 records to 10 records only, but in the real time also, we have the same data, millions of records. I have the data like this. How can I load this data into my table format? Again, same procedure, small difference, that's it. The difference is at the time of table creation, previously table creation time, we are using row format delimiter fields terminated by comma. But this time, use tab delimiter because my delimiter is a tab. That's it. Create table name so and so, and the schema also so and so. After that, mention this row format delimiter fields terminated by space. That's it. Data loading. Now this time properly because our data is a space delimiter. That's why we are converting into structure format. One point, remember one point. The point is in our Hadoop depends on the data. We choose the technique. We choose the delimiter technique. Depends on the data. We choose delimiter techniques to cleaning those data. Okay, if I have comma delimiter, that one. Space delimiter, this query. And in future, we are learning some other delimiters, some other type of data, some other technique. Okay, depends on the data, our approaches changes. Let's say, for example, I want to do this one also practice. Yes, anything you want to practice, data is important. So create a sample data. Take the help of these 4 to 5 records is fine, or else take the help of Google or download some big data like a proper data. Not a problem. Same queries. So I want to practice this sample data. I want to create a file. Vi some file name. Tab data. I created a file. Enter. Okay. Already few records are available. Fine. If I want to add extra record, add it. Otherwise, it's fine. Scope WQ escape WQ enter. Cat tab data. This is my file. Now this file I want to load into Hive table. Again same thing. Yes, before that one point regarding header. Actually, previously I created header, right? This header is working up to whenever we are there in the terminal. That much time only header is working. If I quit the Hive, header is not working. Again I'm logging into Hive, header is not working. The header is working up to whenever we are there in the terminal, that much time only working. If I want header permanently, then what we are doing at the time of configuration, at the time of login in the script, Hive script only we want to configure header. At the time of configuration level only we want to set the header. Okay. Now again I'm relogging into Hive. What is my database? That database I'm using. If I'm not using any database, directly I create a table. The table created, but it default database. But I don't want default database. Use ChrisDB2. Enter. Now here I'm going to create a table. Create table. Some table name tab ex some name. And some 3 columns is required. For example, product ID, integer, product name, string, price, integer. This is the table. Row, format, delimited, fields, terminated by space. Enter. Table is created. Table is created. Again, third arrow only because my data is available local file system. So what is the syntax of third arrow? Load data, local in path, file name, tab data into table name, tab underscore ex. Just my enter. Here just I'm coming to the next line because my finger is touching to enter button. That's why we are coming to the next line. But there is no problem. It's working. Enter. Okay. 1 second. Yes. Single. Now press enter. Not a problem. It's working. Into table name tab ex. Data loading properly. Why before is not loading? Because the single quotes up to the single quote to open and single quote close is taking like a file name. But in the time of before closing single quote, we are coming to the next line now. That time, yes, the system confusing the file names. That's why it's not loading. But now it's loading. Select star frame tab underscore ex. Enter. File loaded successfully. File loaded successfully. Okay. Show tables. Now this time it's showing 4 tables. Just now I'm creating all these 4 tables. Okay. This is third arrow.